if you have followed my other YouTube reviews, you know that the kind of knife that I usually discuss is something like these two here. This is the Chambriard, which I already covered, a fantastic, you could say typically French knife, also very good at the table. Or here an M. Custa, a beautiful and really good quality gentleman knife, compact, always in the pocket. So because why actually this kind of knives? Well, because this is very much the kind of usage I make of knives. That's why I am definitely not interested in tactical usage of knives, and I mentioned that now. Each to his own, it's just not my thing. Now, however, there are here and there a few knives, you could say, with a more tactical design that have appealed to me, like for example the Spyderco Military, which I discussed amongst a few others recently. So that is in this context that, well, okay, while I'm actually not really in, let's say, the target market of this particular beast, because that is the only word I have for it, it is for somebody who is into knives, it is really a fantastic thing, and I think, yes, I will probably totally underuse it during barbecues and the like, because this is really, what you will see here is really meant to really bring you alive through the Amazon or something like that. So the Pohl Force, a company of which this one, which is called the Alpha One Outdoor, is actually only the second knife. The first one, I don't have it. I have here the brochure that came in the box. It's a small fixed knife, actually designed by Spencer Reiter, American knife designer. Actually, it's a custom maker and it was licensed. It should be pretty sweet from what I read. Now, the company is actually property of Mr. Dietmar Pohl, who is one of the most experienced knife designers in Europe. Several of the Eichhorn knives, which is a quality German brand often used by professionals, are designed by him. He also designed several of the more tactical looking Boker knives. Yes, indeed, so experienced guy with especially an interest and a talent for the more tactical looking knives. And here this one is totally designed by him in cooperation with various survival groups and so on. It is made in Taiwan, which actually, considering the enormous quality that it radiates, causes it to have still a pretty reasonable price, because you will see, I think this is really something that you can put without any embarrassment, you would say, next to the heaviest build, zero tolerance. So I think by now you're full of suspense to see it. Well, I open the box, the pouch. Well, you notice already a bit of knife sticking here. In the brochure, well, no, it's not a brochure. When have you last seen a knife with such a 2-page manual with detailing all the grips, something about the thumb stud, which I will explain, about the lock, the different parts, about maintenance, and so on and so on. It's really hyper detailed, and I love this this attitude to perfection. That's good. What else is in the box? Well, here, look at this. Meanwhile, indeed, your suspense is building to see the damn thing. Well, certificate. This is number 153, and you will see the 153 coming back on the physical knife. Checked by Mr. Dietmar Pohl himself on the 11th of May. So, I mean, this is quite, it means really this guy cares about his products. I like this attention to detail. So, the knife. Well, quite a big thing. This I come back to very soon. Very sturdy, around 280 grams. You don't notice a thumb stud, and there isn't a flipper either. Now, it's not one of these assisted opening knives. Now, why no thumb stud? Well, it comes out of the box as a two-hand knife, because in Germany locking knives have no size limit if they are two hands, strangely enough, but if they are one hand, well, there are various limitations. And so out of the box, well, this is one of the most, let's say, impressive looking folders if you're not into knives. That's why it is, strangely enough, I believe, illegal to carry in Germany, where the design is from. And that is also why here, this is actually the thumb stud thing that you can really screw at the top of the blade. You may think, oh, that's strange, why at the top of the blade, why not at the side of the blade? Well, because this blade is a whopping 5 mm thick at the top, so it is really, you can use it already for very heavy use. That's already obvious. So I will now open it with the two hands. Well, this is, I would say, a beast. This is just as I said in my other review about the zero tolerance. This is the kind of knife that gives a big grin when you hold it, even if you are not a knife. That is quite impressive because it is so extremely solid the way it looks, that it feels already like it's from one. It's really like a one piece of metal. You don't even think that it's a folder. Some details. Well, if the camera detail picks it up, here you see the 153. It is a backlock, a very sturdy backlock. So as you can see, the width of the lock, well, it is even wider than the one of my Spider Comanix, so potentially it can even lock even sturdier than the big Manix, the old Manix that I have. The handle is Zytel with structure. Well, Zytel with structure and a bit rough surface is very much as practical as G10, which is more trendy, you could say, but this kind of structure is perfectly okay. The pivot here, it has a hole actually, so that you can untangle this. It's a flex cord, and tangle it there so that you have something to hold your hand, which can be sometimes useful. You can also, for maintenance, screw this open with a coin. So you see, Dietmar Kohl is a guy who thinks about all the details. And here, normal screwdriver for the rest. Enormously thick liners. Well, I think 1.5 mm or so. So you see, very sturdy. Blade 11 centimeters. So largely big enough. Unfortunately, a bit for somebody like me. With the recurve, I think, well, I prefer clean blades without that recurve form, but still, various facets which make the design pretty interesting. Still, being such a thick knife, yes, you can prepare your food with it when you're camping, but if you are a bit more delicate, you could, in your cooking methods, you may still want to bring a small opinel to finally cut those pieces of garlic, for example. It is a 440C blade, but hardened until, yes, 58 Rockwell, I believe. So 440C is indeed in Europe still very much used. By knife nut standards, you could say, well, it's not so fashionable anymore. You will have to sharpen it a bit more than let's say VG10 or CPMS 30V, but honestly, I think it is really well, dependable enough. It's not like that you have to sharpen it often. No, not at all. This is a knife, as you notice, that you can really use very long without any maintenance. It's also quite big, the handle, but it's designed that way, and also the optional thumb stud that you can use it with gloves. That's also why it's so big. So how would I compare this knife? Well, I would say it's a bit a cross between the big Spider Comanix and those who have the Manix now. Really notice how enormous this thing is, the bottom one, the Dietmar Kohl one, because which is a very tough, sturdy, backlocking folder, a perfect utility knife. This one is even sturdier, can you believe it? That's why it's, I mean, if you're into knives, this one is really totally incredible. I prefer still the look of the no-nonsense look of the Manix. I mean, I like clean designs that do not need to, let's say, impress, because indeed, if you look at this knife and you're not a knife nut, you may think that the owner is compensating for something or is a bit insecure, things like that. But I mean, if you're into knives, I think you can only admire the incredible quality of the thing. A coil here so that it won't easily close on your finger when you unlock. So that is one of the similarities, the Manix. The other one, I would say, yes, the ZT200 which is my other beastly knife, you could say, which is a liner lock. I would say in general roughly the same quality, but honestly this one has a feeling that, well, that is quite peculiar. Very tough jimping here, so yeah, you have a really sturdy grip. In the manual they explain really the benefits of holding it like this or reverse, etc. So if you're into that kind of thing. But anyway, so if you need an extremely sturdy tool, this one, well, I think it's difficult to improve upon this. I think most of you will agree. I think indeed for an outdoor knife that can handle just about everything, it's also incredible. In short, I mean, this is the knife where I think the brand Zero Tolerance really has met its match. It has an incredible feel. So I hope you found this an interesting knife review.